Good evening, Wednesday evening. Welcome to North West Tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Roger Johnson. Our top story. The mum who went to Ibiza missing her 12-year-old son's sentencing for rioting is fined the cost of her holiday in compensation. She's also been ordered to attend a 6-month parenting course. Also tonight, an inquiry hears hospital bosses still wanted to close down speculation, even as medics told police that baby killer Lucy Letby was an angel of death. What makes an award-winning alpaca? We'll find out at Cumbria's biggest agricultural show. 19 golds and still going. Great Britain's greatest Paralympian, Dame Sarah Storey, tells us she's not finished yet.
You never can take it for granted that another Games will be there. I'd love to be in LA. I will be the best version of myself in whatever capacity that is.
And for many of us, today has been wet, cold and windy, with temperatures below average for the time of the year. But how long will it last? Joining me at the end of the programme, I'll give you all the details.
The 12-year-old boy, who should have been sentenced last week for taking part in 2 riots, was back in court today. This time, his mum was with him, back from the holiday to Ibiza that she decided to go on, rather than accompanying her son. She told the court she didn't realise it was important for her to be there. The judge fined her £1,200, about the cost of the holiday, and told the boy that he'd have been going to jail if he was an adult. Mairead Smith sent this from Manchester Magistrates Court.
This morning's hearing had been adjourned from the start of last week because the boy's mother had gone on holiday to Ibiza. Both appeared in court together today. The child had earlier admitted being part of violence and attacked a bus outside a hotel that was housing asylum seekers in Manchester on the 31st of July. A few days later, he was part of a group who vandalised a vape shop and threw a missile at a police van. The court was shown footage of both offences today. Now, that violence was part of an escalation of trouble in towns and cities across the UK after 3 girls were murdered in Southport on the 29th of July. Today, District Judge Joanne Hurst said that this was the worst kind of feral behaviour, and if the boy had been an adult, he could have expected a sentence of between 4 and 5 years. Today, she issued him with a 12-month intensive referral order, and his mother was ordered to pay compensation of £1,200, £300 to each of 4 people who gave victim impact statements to the court, including an asylum seeker and the bus driver. The mother was also issued with a 6-month parental order and was told that this was probably the best chance you'll get to put things right. Mairead Smith, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
Next tonight, the inquiry into the murders of babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital has been told that the body which regulates nurses didn't restrict Lucy Letby's ability to work, even after she'd been arrested. The Nursing and Midwifery Council was first told of senior doctors' suspicions about her in July 2016, but restrictions on her ability to practice weren't applied until she was charged in November 2020. Live to our health correspondent, Jill Dummingham. She's been at the inquiry at Liverpool Town Hall today. She joins us, she's about to join us live from there. Jill, just tell us first of all about this decision.
Yes, well, the Nursing and Midwifery Council is the regulator for nurses, and as you say there, they were first told about concerns about Letby in July 2016, including the increase in deaths, the concerns of the consultants, and the fact that the Trust was considering calling the police in. By the following May, the police investigation had begun, but still the NMC felt there wasn't enough evidence to even consider any restrictions to her working as a nurse. That consideration came when she was arrested in 2018, and even then, they thought there was insufficient grounds for restrictions. She was theoretically free to continue working with adults at any rate because her bail conditions stopped her from working with children.
It was not until Letby was charged in November 2020 that the Nursing and Midwifery Council sought an interim order. An 18-month suspension order was imposed on the 20th of November 2020, both on public protection and public interest grounds. The interim order remained in place thereafter. Following her conviction, Letby was referred to the Fitness to Practice Committee. On the 10th of November 2023, Letby indicated that she did not contest the application to remove her from the register and she did not want to attend the hearing. The hearing took place on the 12th of December 2023. Letby was struck off.
Now, the inquiry was told that the NMC mistakenly believed that Letby's bail conditions prevented her from working in any healthcare setting and that they've since lowered the bar on restricting practice when a nurse is suspected of harming patients.
Jill, a lot of what you've heard today has been about the overview of external organisations, hasn't it?
Yes, so for example, the British Medical Association had been told by two of the consultants of their concerns about Letby, but gave no evidence on safeguarding. The Care Quality Commission carried out an inspection in February 2016 and apparently been told by a doctor that they had serious patient safety concerns but didn't follow it up. The Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health carried out an invited review in September 2016. Now, they heard that Letby felt scapegoated and that some of the nurses supported her. But they also heard that some junior doctors were referring to her as Nurse Death and that the consultants suspected possible foul play, and that they wanted the execs to call the police. They agreed to provide the Trust with two reports, one mentioning Letby and one not mentioning her, and it was that second report that the Trust circulated.
Yeah, the Trust doesn't really appear to have highlighted concerns about either the deaths or in particular about Lucy Letby until quite late in the day, does it?
No, and in fact within the hospital there were numerous committees and boards with responsibility for patient safety, and yet this striking increase in the death rate from mid-2015 just doesn't seem to have set alarm bells going. Urgent Care was the hospital division with responsibility for the neonatal unit. They had a risk register and recorded it there 6 months after a review which identified it as a problem. Even then, rather than a risk to babies, it was characterised as potential damage to the reputation of the neonatal service and wider trust due to apparent increased mortality. The inquiry continues tomorrow.
Jill, thank you very much. That was Jill Dummigan reporting live from Liverpool Town Hall at the Thirlwall Inquiry. Now, some families who lost loved ones in the Hillsborough disaster waited more than 20 years for face-to-face meetings to discuss the findings of the post-mortems on their loved ones. A review published today by the Home Office has also revealed that relatives of Manchester Arena bombing victims also faced lengthy delays. Yunus Muller's been looking at the report. He's here in the studio. He's got more details. Yunus.
Thanks, Roger. Today saw the publication of a report into the way pathologists carried out post-mortems on the Liverpool fans who died at Hillsborough on April 15th, 1989. It comes 8 years after a fresh inquest ruled 97 people had been unlawfully killed as a result of police failures. The independent review has found that pathologists did not adequately inform and consult the victims' families about post-mortem examinations. They also did not assess whether the victims could have survived. Today's report was written by forensic science expert Glenn Taylor. He recorded this video before he died last month, and today it was played to the families.
In future public disasters, arrangements should be made to explain the decision to hold a post-mortem to the family involved.
Mr. Taylor found some families were not granted face-to-face meetings with pathologists until 23 years after the tragedy. His report recommends much better communication with grieving relatives, particularly over the use of photographs, and strongly urges face-to-face meetings. It says survivability must become part of the post-mortem process, and it says the UK needs to train more forensic pathologists. The former Bishop of Liverpool, who asked for the review, welcomed the report.
It's not just good enough to have these reports and the words. Actions speak louder than words, and there needs to be change. And in the end, that's what will count. In the end, that will prove the worth of this report.
After the Manchester Arena bombing, one man had to wait 6 years for a meeting with the pathologist who carried out his partner's post-mortem. So some Hillsborough relatives have little faith in the changes promised today.
If I had £1 for every time somebody said lessons have been learned, I'd be a multi-millionairess now. Every time there is another disaster, another tragedy, lessons have never been learned.
Others hope that in future disasters, the bereaved will be treated with more empathy and understanding. The new Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, says she's committed to righting the wrongs of the past.
Jonas, thank you very much, Jonas Muller there. Now, housing campaigners have welcomed the government's plans to ban so-called no-fault evictions, where tenants are evicted without reason. By next summer, the plans were first proposed under the Conservative government, but were delayed amid concern about the impact on landlords. The first reading of the Renters' Rights Bill took place in Parliament today. It also proposes banning bidding wars and preventing landlords from blocking tenants on benefits or those with children.
It seems an awful long time that tenants have been waiting for some form of protection from rogue landlords and from having the threat of having Section 21 hanging over their heads. So it's really reassuring that a new government has fulfilled a promise to bring this in so quickly.
Now, Alex Cottam hoped a common anti-anxiety drug would help him to get his life back on track after he became depressed following the death of his dad. Instead, Alex became addicted and died from an accidental overdose in his Salford flat. Well, now a BBC investigation has learned that the number of fatal overdoses involving Pregabalin misuse has doubled in the last 5 years here in the North West, sparking concerns over an illicit online market. Now, the government says that it will review its classification as a Class C drug. Scott Hesketh has got the first of two special reports.
It's a walk Michelle never thought she'd make. A reminder how her son wanted to change the world and how his life was cruelly taken.
He was a lovely little boy, no problems. He was never naughty, he was very well behaved, he was happy. He went all through primary school, he got really good grades, he was always top of the class, very popular.
Alex was a tech fanatic, high school head boy, talented software engineer. But when his dad died, his world slowly fell apart.
He started to suffer from anxiety really and depression.
Right.
And he started to drink more than he should. He tried to give up the alcohol, he turned to the cannabis. He gave them all up and the doctor decided then to treat his anxiety with Pregabalin. But he started then to think to himself that it's making him feel good, so he'd take more to make himself feel even better.
Alex bought pills online to boost his supply without telling his GP, as his addiction tightened its grip.
I came home from work and he was barely breathing on the bed.
His mum gave him CPR and Alex was blue lighted to hospital, the first of 12 emergency visits over the next 2 years.
Sometimes he didn't see a future, but that's because the drugs are making him feel like that.
Alex moved to his own flat early in 2021, and for a while things improved, but the hope was short-lived.
Myself and my other son Jaden, we went round and I could hear my phone ringing in his flat and he didn't answer the door. So I called the police and the ambulance. The police put his door in and because they didn't come out for ages, I went in and he was on the floor. And he was just a different colour to how I'd seen him before. And he just had packets and packets of Pregabalin round him. I mean, there must have been 20 boxes of it. And, you know, they were all in the cupboards in his flat. It was too late to do anything.
An inquest heard Alex had taken an unintentional overdose, which included 3 times the safe dose of Pregabalin. Latest figures show Pregabalin has the fastest rising death toll of any drug in the UK, with the North West among the worst hit areas. In just 5 years, almost 250 deaths were linked to Pregabalin, a 200% rise on the previous 5 years total. Addictions experts say Pregabalin is a safe and effective treatment when prescribed by a doctor, but warn of the dangers of sourcing it elsewhere.
So one of the problems with this drug is that I think people see it as a prescription drug and therefore think it's safe. You know, if a doctor's prescribed it, even if they're not accessing it through a prescription, they view it as being quality controlled and safe. But of course, that's not the case at all when you access this via the black market. You don't know what the dose is going to be. You don't know what's in the drug. And even for those people prescribed the drug, I think the dependency that they develop can creep up on them.
Our investigation found a thriving online black market. One seller on the encrypted Telegram service claimed to be a pharmacist. He offered us a deal, 150 tablets for £120. The Royal Pharmaceutical Council told us they were aware of ongoing illicit demand and said they were concerned by the number of deaths linked to the drug. Following our investigation, the government said it will review Pregabalin's status as a controlled Class C drug and consider its findings carefully.
If anybody knows anybody that's taking it, just to be aware that they can, that it can become an issue, and just normal people can become overtaken by it. It changed his life. It changed his life in a bad way. If he hadn't been prescribed Pregabalin, he would still be here.
Scott Hesketh, BBC North West Tonight.
Well, thanks there to Alex's mum, Michelle, for speaking to us about Alex and his experience. We'll have the second part of Scott's investigation into Pregabalin on tomorrow evening's programme. Now we'll hear from Dame Sarah Storey shortly, and Emmanuel will have the weather for us. But first, let's get some of the day's other main stories. And a mother whose 10-week-old baby died after being left home alone while she went to work at Bolton Hospital has been jailed. Ruth Outer left her baby son Joshua alone at her nurse's accommodation for over 8 hours in December 2022. When she returned, the baby wasn't breathing. Outer was charged with cruelty to a child and has been jailed for 3 years. Plans for a new car park next to the Ruskin Museum in Coniston have been approved by the Lake District National Park Authority. Visitor numbers to the museum have surged since the return of Donald Campbell's iconic hydroplane Bluebird K7 earlier this year. And journeys on the Isle of Man's Snaefell Mountain Railway are set to resume after storm damage caused it to be suspended for 2 days. A spokesman for the railway said that wind speeds of up to 80 miles an hour damaged overhead electricity lines. Oh, we're going to talk about cows. How would you guess? Today saw the start of the Westmorland County Show at Milnthorpe in Cumbria. The Westmorland Show, one of the most popular agricultural shows in the country. And this year it coincides with Back British Farming Day. Farmers say it's vital that they have the chance to show the public what they do to produce our food. Here's our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
There's a lot going on at the Westmorland County Show, which is famous for showcasing some of the finest cattle in the country.
He's had a coat of glue this morning to make all of his coat look thicker and fluffier. It's very important to us as breeders that he does win this, because this makes our reputation in the breed better.
This is one of the most popular agricultural shows in the country, still run by farmers. Whatever you're showing, winning here is a serious business. This is the hill farming section, and the runner-up is a Herdwick, a famous Lake District breed.
Well, it's a good shop window at the county show because it gets a lot of spectators and people from all over the country, really, so it's a good place to show your sheep off.
Farmers say it's important to show the public what they do, especially at a time when the industry is facing huge challenges, including a fall in income and extreme weather patterns.
When you walk around the show ground, you just see how many people are here. You look at the quality of the stock, you look at all the machinery, you look at the smiling face. It's just a real good celebration of Cumbrian farming and really demonstrates what Cumbria delivers in terms of food, but also the wider Cumbrian economy too, and why we should be proud of what we do.
And today just happens to be Back British Farming Day.
It's a challenging time. We'd like to produce British food. We want the consumer to be able to enjoy British food at an affordable price, and so we're in a very strange time, and we're just looking for some backing from government for food security within the UK.
Meanwhile, back on the showground, we came across some of the country's most handsome alpacas. So what are the judges looking for?
We're looking at things like how fine the fleece is, so we're visually assessing the micron of the individual fibres. We're assessing how dense the fibre is, how uniform it is in that micron, how uniform in colour it is, and also, and very importantly, how soft handling it is.
And today's winning alpaca is from Lancaster.
So the judges want a nice bright fleece, and it needs to be nice and fine and be dense. The crimp shown in this fleece shows that it has these qualities.
This show's now been running for 225 years, and it's so popular it's now a 2-day event with more than 37,000 visitors expected. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight at the Westmorland County Show.
Oh, it looks wonderful. Let's hope the weather stays for them going forward. We'll get the forecast from Emmanuel shortly. First, though, Richard's here. Hi, you've been nice to have you on the sofa, by the way, instead of standing over there.
Nice to be back. Yeah.
You've been talking to Paralympics GB's greatest all-time competitor, Dame Sarah Storey, today.
Yeah, she definitely is, Roger, isn't she? Manchester's Dame Sarah Storey. I asked her that question, by the way. She said, yeah, from Manchester. That's where she feels as though she's from.
Yeah, she lives in Disley.
That's right.
On Stockport.
Yeah, used to live in Eccles in Salford as well. But yeah, she's back with the 2 Paralympic medals, gold medals that she won in Paris, extending that amazing record she's got to 19 goals. And you'll hear in a minute, Rod, she told me extra special because both her children were there to cheer her on in what was her 9th games. Incredible. I mean, amazing, isn't it? The first one was back in Barcelona in 1992.
She was a swimmer then, wasn't she?
Teenage swimmer then, 14 years old. And at 46 now, she's already got her sights set on the Los Angeles even Paralympic Games.
Has she done it? She has!
Trying to kind of let it settle in and realise what's happened. You never can take it for granted that another Games will be there. I wanted to go to the Games in '92. That was the 6-year-old dream I had when I watched the 1984 Olympics. I had a teammate who was 39 at those Games in '92, and I thought, well...
Oh, codger.
I was, well, yeah, but I was thinking, wow, Bev, she's 39. It was like a pipe dream, really.
This time, Sarah, you've had the family with you, your children, Charlie and Louisa and Barney, your husband. What's that been like?
Well, it was just so lovely to have them there. Although Louisa went to Rio, she doesn't know if she remembers Rio for being there or for looking at the photos. For her to have that second Games experience but actually remember it is amazing. And her brother, well, it was his idea at the end of the day. Charlie said, Mum, you've come back from Tokyo and it didn't take me, you need to take me to the next one.
Oh, so, you had to then, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely had to. And I'm just so pleased that not only did I make it to that 9th Games and get off the start ramp to compete, but I, succeeded in defending the 2 titles I went to go for.
What about the support, though, in the Northwest, Dame Sarah? Because it's been huge. How much has that made a difference for you?
It's absolutely immense. I can't thank everyone enough. The messages of support. So proud to be a Mancunian and to live, train and work here and to be able to come back. So I'll be at Old Trafford watching the cricket on Sunday.
You're a big cricket fan, aren't you? Well, you're connected to Lancashire cricket, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm the president of Lancashire. And we're obviously hosting an international on Sunday. It's a huge privilege to be able to do that. I'm looking forward to a bit of feet up in the pavilion on Sunday.
You deserve it, yeah. Be a few free drinks, I think, as well, no doubt. What about what's next? What are you going to do next?
Well, I'm going to finish the season off competing, and then October is the start of the downtime. I'd love to be in LA. I will be the best version of myself in whatever capacity that is. Well, I will be back on my bike during the month of October, navigate the winter months, which is always difficult as a bike rider.
As a pathetic cyclist, Dame Sarah, I understand the tricky problems that you have in the winter. Do you never think then, like Sir Steve Redgrave did, don't ever show me a boat again? Put that bike away, I'm never getting on one again.
I don't think I'll ever be, sick of a bike. We'll just come back and enjoy it, have a holiday and, work out what we do and how we do it next.
Just how proud are you? Just sum that up, Dame Sarah. How proud are you of these 2 gold medals and that you could celebrate that with your children?
I'm so proud. It's kind of, proud doesn't seem like a big enough word. So to have them there and to them witness this, they know what it takes. So proud, beyond proud, just delight and, gratitude.
Many congratulations and thanks for talking to us.
Oh, no, thank you.
She's just amazing.
You're so respectful. You called her Dame Sarah on every question there.
Yeah, 2 out of 3, I think it was. not a lot of people will have known, maybe, that she's president of Lancashire County Cricket Club.
Oh, dear. So she's not having it all her own way.
She won't enjoy hearing this,
No.
unfortunately. Lancashire playing Durham. Durham declared on 573 for 9 in their second innings. Lancs ended the day on 155 for 4.
Right.
Still 190 runs behind. Sorry, Dame Sarah.
They're in your Dameshire. They're in real danger of going down, aren't they, Lancashire? Unfortunately.
They are, unfortunately, yeah. But remarkable Dame Sarah story, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. She's a dame. Let's move on to the weather. Emmanuel is here. Lancashire can't be saved by the weather, Emmanuel, so never mind.
Try my best.
Is it going to rain?
Potentially, actually, over the next few days. Changeable weather and a mixed picture today as well, as you'll notice on the picture sent in by our weather watchers. I think in some places, once that rain did clear, we did see something a little bit nicer, brighter and pleasant. This picture sent in by our weather watcher in Lancashire. But of course, this is how it started for quite a lot of us out there. Some heavy rain into parts of Merseyside, down into the Cheshire Gap as well. Thank you to our weather watchers. And of course, as ever, you can always send me your pictures on social media. And of course, you can also sign up to become a weather watcher. Now, at the moment, we do have low pressure off out to the northeast, and that's what's really helping to bring down that cold Arctic air. And that's why it has been cold today. Of course, you will have noticed, and also bringing us that showery airstream as well. And we'll continue to see some further showers as we head through tonight. I think mostly for parts of the Isle of Man, down into Lancashire, into Merseyside, parts of Cheshire as well. So a cool and breezy night with temperatures down to around 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, possibly. So this is how we're starting tomorrow. We'll see some further showers as we head through the day, but I think in the afternoon we are looking at something a little bit drier and brighter. I think overall tomorrow will be another breezy day, but winds rather not as strong as they were today, and temperatures struggling to get above 14 degrees Celsius. That is, of course, 4 or 5 degrees below average for the time of the year. So some good news, I guess, because tomorrow night we're expecting this ridge of high pressure to build. So that means tomorrow will be dry and clear, but it does mean that we could be starting off Friday with some frost in places. And then because of this system coming in from the west, it means that temperatures will start to climb, but we won't really notice the difference until we get to Saturday. So Friday itself, we are expecting a dry and a sunny start, but for the rest of the day, we'll see that cloud building from the west, turning quite cloudy, and temperatures getting to highs of around 15 degrees Celsius. But of course, into the weekend, temperatures climbing back to the average for the time of the year.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
could be worse.
Changeable.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Richard, thank you. Nice to have you both on the show.
Cheers, Rog.
That's it. I'll be back with the late news at 10:30. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for watching.
See you, bye.
Well done.